He hasn't had a trim in a few weeks. Starting to look a bit bushy.
Rude. I shaved specially for this, I have you know.
I feel like that was the perfect opportunity.
Just not your face.
Hey, this is great banter.
Good morning and welcome to the Hobby Breakfast Show, kicking off your morning with Wargaming Chat. Your hosts, as always, are myself, Onod. We have the Mayor.
Good morning, everyone.
Freshly back from his sweaty power gaming, and we also have
Filthy tryhard.
And today we're going to be having a look at the last Legendary Legions from the Quest of Ringbearer, Cirith Ungol, the Depths of Moria, and the Black Riders. We will see you in just a second. Hobby, right? We've got quite a lot to talk about, so we'll try not to race through it, I guess, so that we don't spend too much time waffling. OT, you have been painting some Burrows and Badgers.
I have.
So, are you going to say about it?
Yep, let's move on.
Good, right.
I finished my warband. I've done. I have to say the fucking name. Oh, I should have planned ahead. Baragorn and Schroeder.
Bandalf's been done as well.
Yeah, they're all done. They're all done. My start warband.
Are you ordering a Boromir?
Warhamir, and I've already got all the models for my warband. So yeah, we're sorted on that one.
Oh,
well, I've got Ramley or Rimley, depending on which name
I like Rimley.
Rimley does not sound
right. No, that was the
we know what his
draft.
special ability is.
Oh god,
a massive axe.
Moving swiftly on.
Let's move on.
I've done some paints this week. Here's some cowboys I painted for some reason, because why not?
Yeah, they very much came out of the blue.
Yeah, I wanted to try out a new method of painting. It's not really that new. I think it's been hitting YouTube.
Just tell us what it is.
It's called slap chop, which is
what the fuck?
I don't know why, because I wouldn't say I'd.
Is it where you take a house painting brush and you just like flick it in the direction of the model? That's what it sounds like.
Pretty much. Yeah. I feel like I did this like several months ago, and it wasn't called that back then. It was just called contrast painting. But anyway, it's called that now. I did that.
What, so you just use contrast paints? Is that the new
technique?
Technique?
You spray paint your models grey. Then you dry brush white, and then you contrast on top, and it's meant to like accentuate the contrast.
Oh yeah, okay, that sounds interesting.
It's like Zenithal for plebs.
I see, yeah.
And I'm very much
an extra spray paint.
What a tagline that is!
It's when
definitely a better name than slap brush or whatever it was.
It's for those who can't afford an airbrush, and I can't be asked to learn how to do it, don't want to buy one, and don't have anywhere to put it. So I'm like in the trifecta of people who will never own an airbrush. So as a pleb, I did this. It worked fine, and I'm not going to do it for everything, but I will be doing it for certain projects, I think, because I think it looks good for some stuff. I also, more interestingly than that, because I don't really have much to say about those other than I painted them, Arwen on foot, on horse yet, because I don't want to paint Asfalaf. I'm just putting that off for as long as physically possible.
We were considering making our list objectively worse, so
I
paint the horse white.
I was saying to OT, I was like, can I just bring a regular horse so that I don't have to paint it white? And OT was like, no, it's just flat out better. So yeah, oh god, I'll do it. I'm not happy about it. Yeah, I'll just slap chop it. I mean, contrast white doesn't really look like anything. That's the issue.
No, just get a piece of chalk and rub it all over the model. That'll replicate the GW Corax white effect.
That really will.
Oh my god.
I would say it would be a less chalky effect, actually. you would use the amount of chalk on that. I'll probably just paint it in an off-white like I do with all white because I hate actual white. And that'll do fine. And I also painted Bill the pony. And here's a lovely picture of Bill. Oh, he looks so happy.
Have we got a picture of Bill?
You do on Drive, but as you know, my messenger is refusing to work.
Yes.
And mine is sending them really, really blurry. Like I don't know what's happening.
You should just go to WhatsApp, really. Messenger's fucking shit. And then I would be able to uninstall Facebook because it's the only thing that I still keep it around for.
Yeah.
Basically, let's create a WhatsApp group is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
There we go. Good. Yeah, that's everything I've done, I think. Is that? Yes. Maybe, yes.
You did it. What do you want us to say?
I can't remember whether I painted something for Burrows and Badgers or whether that was last week.
No, you were quite way ahead on the Burrows and Badgers stuff.
Okay. If I remembered incorrectly, here's a picture now, and there'll be nothing if I didn't. On to now. It really is.
Okay, so my
plan here... Why
are
you doing this to me?
Are you editing this?
Of course I am.
Okay. Well, prepare yourself, listener, for, I'm hoping, 7 bat reps in 7 minutes. So let's see how I'm literally going to start a timer right now. So I'll start it in a second when I tell listeners what the hell's going on. So I went to Into the West at the weekend, which is a 2-day event in Cardiff. It was an excellent event. It was a lot of fun. I took Goblin Town, 450 points, 7 games. So I'll just run you through each game really quickly. The first game was Retrieval against Isildur and Erestor. Isildur failed on the second last turn to resist the ring and just started running away. I managed to basically surround his force, brought lots of guys on. His 4 bowmen killed 8 goblins, which was pretty good. So the Goblin Scribe brought 12 in, mostly early on in the game. 26 guys died, which is 1 away from breaking. So a net minus 14 goblins this game. Last turn, I snuck a guy around onto the objective, grabbed it, and moved away. And like I said, I was 1 from breaking, so pretty close overall. I think he was pretty close to breaking as well. So 3-0 win to start. Second game was Reconnoiter against Thror and a Captain. He did a pretty good job of blocking the board up. Literally no one the Scribe brought on made it into combat because the first turn, obviously, he didn't come in. Second turn, he didn't come in. Third turn, he didn't roll well. And then he started bringing guys on. But by the time they got to combat, I decided actually I needed to not break to win the game since I'd done 1 wound on Thror by ganking him with Gollum and the King. So my guys just started running away. And in the last turn, again, I was 1 from breaking. My opponent had 3 dwarves. You can see on the right-hand picture, 3 dwarves surrounding 1 goblin. He rolled a 5 high with his 3 dice. I have 1 dice. If I fail this, I'm probably going to get killed and lose the game. And of course, I rolled a 6. So I snuck a win there. So 1-0, very high scoring game. Game number 3 was Heirlooms against a King's Champion and like 7 Vault Wardens. And the King's Champion never made it to combat because he sort of just meandered everywhere, going for the nearest objective. I managed to bring everyone on near a objective, picked up the 3 next to the dwarf player, and then managed to protect my scribe long enough. The first 3 turns, he failed to bring anyone on, which was horrific. And then he started trickling goblins in, and I put those on the other side of the board by the objectives. And in the last turn of the game, brought 3 on from the side and completely blocked the line of sight between the only remaining archer with a chance of destroying my guy with the heirloom. I thought he was going to have to do like 10 in the ways, but actually he just said, I don't think I can actually see his bodies because there were just so many guys in between. So that was an 8-2 win.
Did he just have Vault Wardens, or were there some?
He had
archers as well.
Yeah, he had some warriors. He had some rangers with bows. and yeah, the King's Champ and a captain. I ganked the captain really early on as well, so I got a leader kill for that. Nice. Then game 4, Lords of Battle. This one, it was always going to be tough for Goblin Town, but I was optimistic. Unfortunately, my opponent got to pick the board side. He had this really good piece of terrain, and he was able to just be an elite pike army and just take the kind of hot gates approach. I went round to the side of the building that was the bigger side, but the scribe didn't do very well until the very last turn, at which point I was broken already. So a -20 net from the scribe, even though he brought 15 in, unfortunately. I failed 2 blubbery mass rolls with the king, which meant he died, which is very unfortunate. I only had to save 2. Or if I saved any, I would have been fine, but I failed. Did feel a bit helpless. He played it really well, though, and he went on to come second, so I didn't feel too bad about that.
What heroes did he have?
He had the 2 new Eastling heroes, the mage and the thingy. The one that casts like really good magic powers and the one that has the 3-up Master Battle. Game 5, Fog of War against Assault on Lothlorien. Luckily, as I'm a cave dweller, he doesn't get his +1 bonus. Haha. I picked the hill on the right. I only found that out because he told me, otherwise I probably wouldn't have known. Pick the hill on the right is a really cagey game. A total of, I think, 17 models died this game. I got a net +4 goblins from this game. Last turn, I brought 3 goblins onto the hill. The right-hand image, he'd already removed all his guys by the time I remembered to take a picture. But yes, very cagey. He managed to get his Warg Riders round. He tried to do a throwing spear into the scribe, which was his target. My protecting was Golem, so he just put the ring on and I just trapped him in a corner. Last turn I managed to grab the hill and prevent him from getting any terrain pieces. So that was a 4-3 win, just because I got the hill. Then game 6, I played Capture and Control, so pretty good for me, against Shagrat and Gorbag, and a Nazgul, actually. Outcome was...
Or just an unnamed?
Just an unnamed. Outcome was a 5-4 loss. It was complete BS. The scribe brought 12 in. None of them made it to combat. 12 dead as well, so +0. Only 4 turns managed in this game. So what happened was I had 2 objectives, dead to rights. He had 1 dead to rights. So I'm leading. And there's a neutral objective on the right-hand side. So the last 3 turns, he had 1 guy on there with a shield. I had 5 goblins fighting him, totally surrounded. So he shielded every time. 3 turns in a row, he got a 6. So he contested that one and made it neutral. And then in the middle, he transfixed the Goblin King, even though I threw 2 will at denying it, and he only got a 4. So with resistant to magic, that was 3 dice that I failed that with. Then he proceeded to win the combat somehow. Then he proceeded to wound the Goblin King 3 times. I failed 1 blubbery mass save, which is statistically likely, so that's fair enough. And then with my last fate roll, so if he wounds me, we're currently drawing based on the BS on the right where he shields for 3 turns. So we're currently drawing at that point. I need him to not wound me, and we'll draw. And so I need a 3 up on the die, and of course I roll a 2, which is even more insulting than rolling a 1. Then so he went on to come 4th. So I lost to the 2nd and 4th player. Game 7 was Contest of Champions. So Big King is going to be really good at this against Assault on Lothlorien again. He had to deploy in the middle, obviously, because Contest of Champions. He had Durbers, I think, as his leader. Gollum clutched a nice banner snipe during this game. The scribe brought 10 in. I got a net -16. Again, I was 1 from breaking, so that's 3 games I was 1 from breaking. My goblins coming on managed to distract some of his beasts and spiders. And I just sent like a massive flanking force around the board and surrounded him, and just got lots of 3, 4 on 1 fights. And the king got, I think, 8 or 9 kills in this game. I spent basically all his will and might getting as many kills as I could early on, even though he was trying to transfix me with 2 characters. So that was a 4-3 win, I think. And that brings me on to the summary. So I placed 15th out of 120, lost to the person who came 2nd and 4th. Average turns taken was 6.4. Total deaths 154. The scribe brought on 93, which is an average of 13.2 a game, or 53 points. And as the scribe's worth 50 points, all I'm getting there is I'm getting to choose where some goblins come on. And instead of the scribe, I could have taken a captain and a few extra goblins. And I feel like that would have been worth it because a lot of the time I could have done with a march, and a few times the scribe didn't bring anyone on in a useful place or time. Average net per game was minus 8.7 goblins, so an average of about 9 goblin deaths a game. Games I was 1 from breaking, 3. So I feel like I was pretty lucky there. I could have done with some more numbers to prevent being broken early on, and I only broke
more
my opponents once. More numbers, that's what I need.
Wow.
Quick question. Do you think Gollum was worth it, or do you regret taking him?
It's an interesting question. So I think actually at this points level, there's less targets for Gollum. There's less useful things for him to do. Same with the scribe. There's less for them to do. I feel like 600s where you want to take Gollum and the scribe because there's more targets for Gollum. Gollum did get a nice gank on Thrall. He got a gank on the dwarf captain. And he got a gank on a banner. But in all the other games, he did nothing. I could have easily picked the scribe to protect instead of Gollum. In Fog, he did nothing in the capture and control game because he was just having to... well, there's just no space for him, basically. I think a captain with March would have been more useful. And they're the same points. But it was scary for a lot of opponents. And
you think it's worth
enemies fights.
That psychological thing, then? Where it's like the scribe and Gollum provide possibilities, so the opponent has to think about them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think if I just went for pure numbers, I'd break less easily, but I'd have a lot less utility. And they make it fun.
Yeah, fair enough. Cool. Right, we're going to start our look at the Legendary Legions. So, Matt, do you want to take us through? We're going to start off with the Moria one. Do you want to give us a quick overview of the Moria Legendary Legion? The Balrog Legendary Legion, what it should be called.
I will. I've just found it in my book. So, this is Depths of Moria. You can take the Balrog, Moria Captains, Moria Shamans, Moria Black Shield Captains, Moria Black Shield Shaman, which is nice. Moria Goblin Drum, Goblin Warriors, Black Shields, Black Shield Drummers, Goblin Prowlers, and Cave Trolls. So most of the things that are in the Goblin army, just not like, could you take Bat Swarms? I'm not sure. But
I think so.
Yeah, so they still get a good array of models. You've got to include the Balrog, who's always your leader. Makes sense. Special rules are Shadow. Shooting attacks that target the Balrog will only ever hit on a 5 or more. Useful against siege weapons, probably not much else. Domination of the Balrog. Friendly Goblin models within 6 of the Balrog gain a bonus of +1 to their fight value. So they go from fight 3 to 4. Is that right? Or did they start at fight 2? I can't remember.
I think they gave 2. Yeah, that'll be fight 3.
So they're fight 3 if they're within 6. Additionally, this army will never be considered broken so long as the Balrog has 6 or more wounds remaining. Does he start on 10? I think he starts on 10.
10 or 12.
10 or 12? Crikey. Okay, the Balrog, should the Balrog have 5 or fewer wounds remaining, then the army will break as normal. If the Balrog is slain, the army will automatically count as broken. So for the most part, if you keep the Balrog alive, because it says is never considered broken, that means for the purposes of mission objectives, you will not be broken.
Presumably for end of game, you still roll though, right?
No, because you're not considered broken. So you just don't break. I think I'm reading that as assuming he's alive with 6 or more wins.
Okay, I interpret that differently, but I will bow to your superior knowledge.
I'm just going off what I've just read.
You're usually better at the wording of stuff than me.
Then we've got And Flame. which I gather is the continuation of the Shadow rule. Shadow and Flame, I don't know, a bit weird. Once per game, at the start of any shoot phase, the Balrog may select a single enemy model within 3 of it and roll a d6. On a 2+, that model is immediately set ablaze. This is an active ability. After the Balrog has used this ability, it no longer benefits from the Shadow ability provided by this Legion. Okay, that makes sense. So he can't be hit unless you roll a 5 or a 6 from shooting, but then as soon as he uses this rule, you can shoot at him as normal. So setting someone ablaze that's within 3 on a 2+, that's, I guess, only going to be good against hero models. But we can talk about ablaze in a minute. Drums in the deep. The effect of Moria Goblin and Black Shield drums are increased from 18 to battlefield wide. Additionally, so long as the drum and at least one drummer are alive, then the drum will count as a banner for the purposes of victory points in scenarios that award victory points for having a banner left alive. I don't actually think I've seen this Legion where someone's taken a drum, which is weird.
No.
I feel like you're getting so much from the Balrog, aren't you? It's like...
You just need numbers then.
I mean, drums are good. I guess it's debatable as to whether you need the battle-wide boost.
Is it +1 courage?
Drum gives you 1/2 courage value, and enemy models suffer -1, and then you get basically a banner effect within 12 inches. At least that's the Black Shield drum. I don't think... Is there any difference between the...
Yeah.
Regular drum is 18-inch range.
But it goes to battlefield wide based on the rule.
Can you take Black Shield drummers in?
Yes, you can.
Season?
Yeah.
I mean,
75 points, that's a lot. It's a lot.
They're getting a much better buff, the Black Shield drummers, because they go from a 12-inch range to battlefield, whilst the regular drummers and the Black Shield ones you can run around with.
Yeah. I think you'd nearly always take the Black Shield one.
Yeah.
I mean, the boost to your courage isn't a big deal because
no.
I mean, you're not going to break unless the Balrog dies, at which point you're probably going to lose anyway.
And the regular Balrog rules give you courage buffs anyway because they automatically pass courage when they're within 12 inches of Balrog. So you're basically taking a really buff banner.
Yeah. I mean, a buff banner for an army that's probably going to have a front and back row isn't that bad. Like, you go from 2 attacks per fight
and
to
you
3.
get it to count for VP, which is the only way you can get it banner in a Moria list, which is actually pretty good. So I feel like there's real high points scope, but I think 75 points when you're taking a 350 point hero is a bit of a steep cost, isn't it?
Yeah. Are we running through rules and rules changes? Are we going to do that for each one, or are we going to go through each one and then come back?
I think let's go through each one individually, because otherwise I think with 3 it will get a bit mixed. So
okay. What do we think about the special rules overall?
I think it's pretty good. I like this Legend Legion. I feel like if I didn't have to paint a million goblins and find some way to store the Balrog, this would be one that I'd be interested in, but I just can't be asked for that headache.
Yeah. I quite like the
if they made a Balrog with like the wings tucked in rather than
just don't attach the wings.
Foldable wings.
It's metal.
Don't attach the wings. No, it's plastic.
It's plastic. Off.
Yeah.
You can get the wings in metal.
Hinge the wings. They can flap.
Yeah. Or just bend them.
Bend them.
Yeah. Just bend them.
What plastic are you using?
Oh yeah. What kind of plastic?
Just put it under a heat gun.
I could melt them. I think that's what you mean. Just have just gooey blobs just draping.
Yeah.
I feel like you could. Now I'm starting to think this is a good idea. You could just remove the wings and just put like smoke effects. Ooh.
Or some cotton wool.
Some cotton wool, exactly. Just the sheep. It's the Balrog, the ram Balrog.
The Balrog.
He's got the horns. You could keep it up. The Balrog. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Now we're cooking.
I think this Legion's good if you're going to take the Balrog, but I don't think it's better. I don't think it's better than normal Moria.
Oh, I don't. I guess you're losing the horde ability of normal Moria.
Yeah.
So.
Thing is, there's no reason to take normal Moria now because you've also got Assault on Lothlorien.
That is true.
So you're either going to take that or you're going to take this. I don't think you're ever really going to take normal Moria now.
Well, you get the trap bonus.
Yeah, and you get Durbas and Groblog and people like that.
Yeah,
the
little kings are quite good.
Yeah,
I think there is.
Can you take Cave Drakes in Assault on Lothlorien?
No,
because I feel like Cave Drakes are decent.
I think there is reason to take regular Moria, but I think if you want to be really comp, you're going to take Assault on Lothlorien if you're out to win.
But then
the host of the Dragon Emperor.
There are. I mean, I beat both Lothlorien lists I came up against, but
you did have a significant advantage of breeding goblins, though, which counted.
That is true, and I mean,
you're like the anti-meta with Goblin Town.
Yeah, weird. There was only one other Goblin Town player there, I think.
Did you play Eastlings, right? Is that right?
I played against Eastlings,
and they were one of the ones that beat you.
Yeah, but they didn't have Dragon Emperor.
But then they have two really other OP heroes that they released.
I was just thinking, if Goblin Town were good against Eastlings, they would actually be the perfect anti-meta right now, wouldn't they? But
right, yeah, but they're not. They're not.
Well, they're not. That's sad.
The Isengard's Assault on
Helmspeak.
I have killed the Dragon Emperor with a ballista once.
Well, genuinely, that's a really good counter to the Dragon Emperor. Is siege weaponry.
You just need to bring me to roll the dice when the bomb detonates because I always roll a 7.
Yeah, that's true.
And Sam to 1v1 the Dragon Emperor.
Yeah.
Right, bringing it back to the special rules for Depths of Moria then. So drum rule, okay, situational based on points.
Drum rule good at 1,000 points.
Yeah.
I reckon useless below 600. Useless below 600 would be my suggestion.
Yeah.
I feel like at 600, maybe 75.
No, definitely not. No, you need so many goblins to make this work.
Well, spam the goblins.
Yeah. And prowlers, and they're 7 points. So, Shadow and Flame. I like the fluff. I like that he's sort of shadowy until he's flamey. I like that.
Yep. I mean, how does Shadow interact with Legolas's ability?
Oh.
Would it hit on a 2-up or would it hit on a 5?
It would hit on a 5.
Because Legolas is on. It has wording like you can't influence it at all. It automatically hits on a 2+, but then this always hits on a 5.
When an immovable object meets a irresistible force or something.
I feel like it might be in the FAQ, but I don't care enough to look.
No, I think it might end up being the 5 or more, but either way, I wouldn't be too scared about Legolas shooting one shot at the barrel.
One shot turn.
I mean, the odds of Legolas hitting with... Yeah, anyway. I don't know where I'm going with this.
The guy's fine.
Yeah.
How do you deal with a Balrog? He seems pretty strong.
You take Aragorn and the King of the Dead. That's how I killed it.
That's how you kill it.
Or you just kill everything else.
Yes.
And then kill the Balrog after, which is what I did.
You ignore
at the tournament. Just because it can only, like in objective games, it can only sit on one, and then you just hold all the rest.
Yeah.
And like he does have some range options, but like,
and if you've got like anything that can transfix or manipulate an enemy model, then you sort it as
That's true. I guess you can try and whittle down the 10 will points, can't you?
It's very much eggs in your basket kind of.
Yeah. But like, if you can get him in combat routinely, like he's going to absolutely wreck.
He needs to do work at his points, and the goblins just aren't going to stand up to anything. You can't get enough of them to swarm. So you're probably going to have
at lower points. You probably could at higher points, but you need a lot of points.
I think at 1,000, this would be pretty good, actually.
Really?
I don't think it would.
You can't take any of the named heroes. You rely on like captains and shamans.
1,000 points, you could actually buff up those goblins. They're not going to run away. They're never going to break.
And you could park a drum in the corner of the map. To be fair,
that's true. Yeah. I mean, I like it overall. I like that it's fluffy. Do we have any suggestions for changing rules?
Yes.
Okay, that's good. Moving on to the next Legion then.
got to be efficient this evening.
The only thing I would say is just why stop them taking some name characters? I'm sure there are some which are like too good, but it seems like a really pointless like. No,
well,
you're not.
It's supposed to be all about the Balrog, isn't it? It's supposed to be like this is the Balrog and some goblins, rather than this is Discount Moria.
Yeah, but it's not like the named heroes wouldn't be around. I don't know. More wargs is my way to improve.
Yeah, I do actually remember that scene in Fellowship where the wargs ran across the bridge first before the Fellowship got there,
and they said it's warging time.
Fucking time.
I do remember that as well. Yeah. Go on, OT. I know you're busting to fucking unleash 20 rules.
I would give the goblins terror within 6 inches of the Balrog.
What they cause terror?
That's pretty good.
What the fuck? That's insane.
Maybe 3 inch.
Let's go 3 inches. I think.
Let's go 3 inches.
That's pretty good. The Balrog's base is huge. Oh my god! Right, yeah, keep going.
The Balrog should have the thing. Sorry to interrupt. I just thought the Balrog should have the thing that the Goblin King has, where he can just like go over dudes.
That would be trample. Trample would be good.
And then you wouldn't be so limited.
If the goblins lose, oh no, that doesn't work because they're fearless. I was also because like another thing was that the goblins were actually quite afraid of the Balrog. So like I said, if they lost a fight within 6 inches, they had to take a courage test. But I don't know what the consequence of that courage test would be. Maybe they like get
death.
Well, death, like, or they get transfixed for a turn or something. I don't really know.
That sounds like such a pain in the ass to keep
track of. I don't really know, but like I think there should be something where like they cause fear when they're around him, but also they're scared of the Balrog.
What if they're just -1 fight when they're within an inch of him or something?
But then
it's a bit wet. It's a bit of a wet rule, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't really know. Yeah, and then also I'd just give heroes +3 or +6 space in their warbands, just to let you hoard out a bit more, because I think otherwise you're actually going to struggle to fit everybody in.
That's a good
it's really good. Not a lot needs to.
I think that the Balrog should have a brutal power attack.
Cool.
I don't know. I just feel like he should. It's weird that he's a monster, doesn't get like a special one. You know.
Well, he's got his special fiery lash thing.
Yeah, he's got set ablaze.
It's not a brutal power though.
It's only once per game.
Should we call it a brutal power attack, and would that make you happy?
What if his brutal power attack is that he can pick 3 enemies and set them ablaze on a 2+? Instead of strike.
That would be very strong.
Bearing in mind his current rule is that on a 6 he sets them ablaze. Changing it to a 2+ is like.
Yeah, but he also needs to strike them, and setting ablaze doesn't guarantee a kill, whereas just killing them would.
True.
So you could do it against heroes and stuff.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seems odd. I'm pretty sure all of the other named whatchamacallits get a special brutal power attack. Their name monsters.
I don't think, but
the bears get their crushing shenanigans. The Ents get their whacking shenanigans.
The Goblin King doesn't have anything.
The 3 trolls get their various bullshit.
Birder doesn't get one. He's a named monster.
Yeah, but Birder's a cave troll. He's fucking little weakling.
That's a bit rude.
The man would get crushed by tree bears, all I'm saying.
Well, you'd hope so, wouldn't you? But
throwing the gauntlet out.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. How much does this cost to collect?
Why are you asking me? You both rejected my spreadsheet previously. Hang on,
it's probably quite cheap because the Balrog is going to be quite. The Balrog isn't that expensive, is he? Isn't he like
points per pound? He must be good.
Yeah,
he's like 10 points per pound or
something. This is where it's immediately outdated, where we check it, but he's like,
yeah.
If you're listening to this in the future, he might be quite expensive. Who knows?
He was £35. Last time I looked, he was £35. He is currently, drum roll please,
what is he?
£40. He has actually gone up.
Not that much though.
Not that much.
Depths of Moria, it's 60 quid for a 400-point list, because I think you just buy a Balrog and a box of goblins, probably. It's probably the easiest way to do it. And for 650, it's about 100, just over 100 quid, because you'd probably buy a probably a box of warriors, some prowlers, and some the heroes.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it's fine. It's a little bit fiddly if you want to put the drums in and stuff like that, because they come in the different command boxes and stuff. So it's actually a little bit.
You're gonna buy a captain, get the drums with them.
But you don't want. But you might want different black shield. Like you might want a black shield and a drum.
I mean, the black shields currently come packaged with 12 warriors, a hero shaman, a drum, all in one.
Yeah. But you don't want the black shield warriors, because the black shield warriors are crap.
Oh, they're so cool though. The sculpts are
amazing. They are shit.
I wish they were better.
Yeah. But yeah, it's fine. It's
black shield shaman is
10. Yeah, with the shatter. Is it shatter? Is that what it's called? Where it breaks
down?
And he has tremor. Yeah. Like if you just had one of them walking around with the Balrog as just like a threat to like good heroes.
Yeah.
Like you don't even use him; he just sits there like on Balrog's shoulder, going "Wee, screamer."
God's sake! Right, let's do the next legion then. I think. What's the next one? No, let's not do Black Riders yet. Let's do Cirith Ungol.
Cirith Ungol.
OT, do you want to do this one?
Yeah,
he would love to.
And this one, as you'll have noticed from the amazing thumbnail, is represented by Frodo at the bottom.
We love that Frodo sculpt.
Yeah.
Can you play that Frodo sculpt as Frodo? Oh, you should definitely be able to do that.
I mean, that really fucks with line of sight, doesn't it?
You can already get Frodo lying down by the tree, can't you?
Yeah,
I feel like that's kind of BS.
It would be very scummy, wouldn't it? Right, anyway, go on, OT.
So it's Cirith Ungol. You can take Shagrat with the shield of Cirith Ungol, named after the Legion, and heavy armor. You can then take Gorbag, and he can take a shield. And Shagrat and Gorbag don't get on.
They don't.
No, famously. You could take Shelob, who gets some buffs in this Legion, so she's a bit more reliable. Mord Urukai captain, who can take a bow, shield, and a two-handed weapon. I'm really please just take a shield. Don't take a bow.
I take the bow. Take the bow.
For the love of God. It's not even an Urukai bow, it's just an orc bow.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
The bow.
Orc bow. God's sake.
I don't think I have a 4-up or a 5-up.
The Mordor Uruks don't get an Uruk bow for some reason. They get
only the Isengard.
Yeah,
an Uruk bow.
Yeah,
crash, isn't it?
Yeah. Then you take you got Orc Shamans, Orc Captains, Orc Warriors, and Mordor Urukai. So yeah, you basically got your two factions, similar to Uglugs. Additional rules: it has to include Shagrat and Gorbag. So I'm assuming, theme-wise, I hope you're taking both anyway. Shagrat's the army's leaders, then Orc Hero with Orc Warriors, and Urukai Heroes with Uruk Warriors. So again, just the two separate factions. Animosity. They fucking love this rule. It's like the Rohan throwing the Rohan throwing spears one. They were just like
they'd really kind of fucking reached their stride at this point, hadn't they? With these fucking two faction combo lists.
Yeah. It's like us milking Rings of Power for all it was worth.
Which wasn't very much.
Rivals for power. So a bit like Gimli and Legolas, keep track of how many models Goblin Sharrow killed. If at any point one has fewer kills than the other, they can reroll a d6. So yeah, I feel like that's quite manageable to keep track of. Just each individual kills, so not too bad. She hungers for sweeter meats. Shelob gets an extra attack, which is nice because she's only one attack base, so that's good. Yeah. But only if she's in a fight with a man, elf, dwarf, or hobbit. So yeah, not the best, but it's definitely improvement.
It's better than nothing, isn't it?
Yeah. And at the start of her move phase, as long as she's not engaged in the fight, Shelob can choose to kill and remove a friendly model within 1 inch of her from the board. If she does so, she can reroll any number of dice when making a dual roll. So if you've charged and you're in a fight with a man, an elf, or a dwarf, you could be looking at 3 attacks with re-rolling all of those, which could be pretty good on the charge. So
does she not have like a thing where she charges and she gets more attacks or something like base?
She has monstrous charge.
So
yeah, so she's normally 2 attacks base if she charges, but this will take her up to 3 if she's and elf, dwarf, or hobbit. So,
doesn't feel like a lot, does it?
No.
But I gather she's quite good.
She's all right. She has a brutal power attack, which means that she can try and paralyze somebody, and it delivers 1 strength 7 hit if she does that. So
I have played against this legion once, and I was using Salt on Helm's Deep, and I failed to kill Shelob with my ballista. So they made it in.
Wow.
I think I blew them up with a bomb, but I only did 3 wounds or something, which wasn't enough.
Ouch. Yeah, she has 6 wounds, but she does have that rule that you have to like
survival instinct.
Yeah. She didn't run away when I blew her up.
She has venom though, which is quite useful.
Yeah. It's an interesting legion. I feel like animosity is the only proper good rule. The others are okay if you were planning to take this as a theme. Like, this is definitely better than vanilla Mordor if you're planning to represent Cirith Ungol. For sure, even if you don't take Shelob.
I think if you're going to take Shelob, you absolutely want to take this list.
Yeah, but consider this. So the guy who came 4th at the tournament this weekend, consider it. The guy that came 4th, that I faced, he had Shagrat and Gorbag. Didn't take this legion because he wanted a vanilla Nazgul to go with it. So he would rather have a vanilla Nazgul than animosity. And he did very well. He was tryharding. But my point is that means obviously someone who's a competitive player thinks that animosity in this instance isn't enough to take the legion. Nothing else. He didn't have anything like it literally just was that. He just had a vanilla Nazgul over what you could have taken with this. So I'm not even sure it's that worth it. But theme-wise, I guess it works if you're playing. If you're planning to take Shelob, you take this for sure.
As a non-competitive player, this is a fun legion.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's themey.
Yeah.
It's fun. In terms of improving it, I think this is just going to be the same conversation about animosity, isn't it? It's like animosity probably could be done differently, but then it just becomes so complicated that this is probably the easiest way.
All the alternatives that we come up with for it were just like that would work.
We'll put in a little thing that refers people to our Ugluk scouts in the corner. I don't actually know how to do that. Well, that's something that I do, not you. I've never done it before, though. I'll experiment.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll just put
what would I do? I feel like the Gorbag and Shagrat thing needs to be a bit more impactful than re-rolling 1d6 in a dual roll. I'd also make it like +1 to wound, or I don't know, heroic combats or something. Like, it depends how much you wanted to push it.
I think they might already get +1 to wounds from the animosity, so you might want to, maybe like bonus to fight or strength or something more than re-rolling a single d6 when making a dual roll. It's not even a dual and to wound roll. Like, make it, I don't know, make it both, or make it all. May re-roll all dice when dueling or all when wounding.
Yeah, could do. I'd nerf by saying that warriors can only benefit from the standfast of their type of hero.
That's a good idea.
So I think I would put some buffs in, but I'd also put in a nerf by trying to make that a bit more themey. I don't know. It again, like, it doesn't do a whole lot wrong. Like, again, if you wanted to recreate this in a themey way, maybe not in a competitive way, I feel like you would just take this, which is probably a good thing.
Why do the bases of these have a grey rim as opposed to a brown one?
They probably just painted some up, especially for those photos.
A bit weird. Yeah, it's all right. I feel like Shelob could be stronger.
I think Shelob can just go to 2 attacks without the need for it to be a man elf or hobbit.
Yeah, but she's a 10-inch move, fight 7, strength 7, D7.
Yeah, but she's kind of like the main perk for the Sedge Legion. It's like, come on now.
Yeah.
Like, is it really that overpowered that when she's playing orcs she has another extra attack? No.
Yeah, maybe. But I don't know. I feel like Shelob might feel a bit bad to like if somebody high rolls against you. Like she's also just so maneuverable.
Why does he not like attacking dwarves?
Because they're not sweet.
They're not sweet
meats.
Mm.
No, they are sweet meats. Isn't that the point? So she's. This is like with our animosity rule. We're like they're fighting harder because they're hungry. That's the same logic here.
Yeah, except
she gets an extra hat. Yeah. So how expensive? Oh, it's quite expensive. This one. I guess that's maybe because Shelob.
And the
Urukai. Yeah, they're weirdly packaged, aren't they?
I think Scout Urukai from Isengard are probably fine. They look similar enough. It's just the shield quite distinctive if you just take that off.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean the two heroes you need are packaged together, which is really nice. So actually that brings costs down. I think you'd put in Shelob, and she's a little bit expensive, but she's not too bad.
And if you buy Shelob, you get fun little Sam miniature.
Do you not get little Frodo?
You do, little bound up Frodo, but the Sam miniature is really cool because he has the light and he has sting, and I think that's the only time you can get him with those.
Nice. It's like that Frodo miniature with the Nazgul that we looked at last week. Price locked.
Yeah, price. The best Sam sculpt is price locked behind a fucking awful Shelob.
Yeah. Oh, you hate this model, don't you? Because it's only got 2 contact points with a base.
Well, it has 4, but they're like tiny little spindles. Yeah. I think it looks okay. I think I've seen somebody do this where they've put it on like a rock, so it's like going down, and then the legs look way more natural. Because when she's like flat, she looks like it looks like she's seen a spider and she's going
Well, it's a mirror. It's a mirror.
Yeah. Whilst when you position her on like a rock face, like she's in the movies going down, it looks like when she's like attacking Sam on the side. So that's a lot cooler. But they should package her with a base that allows you to do that. That Sam mini is really good though. I really like that Sam mini. Nice. And that Frodo OP ring with Frodo lying down. There you go. Yeah. How to play it.
The one problem Hobbits had was being too visible and too tall on the battlefield.
It really is. It was the only downfall.
only thing holding back Shire all these years. Yeah.
If you just sculpt all of your hobbits sitting or lying down, guaranteed win.
No, because if you just take an inch, take not an inch, but take like half a centimeter out of all their legs and just like lower them down further to the base.
Just decapitate them and then just have them they're like peeking out of a hole, and then just play with all those. Wasn't this a thing back when they did the dwarfs on barrels that people used to take them? Was that a thing that I remember?
No, people didn't do that.
I'm pretty sure people did try and do that. Sure. I'm almost certain that back when the Hobbit came out,
the barrel is barely shorter than the dwarves.
No, the dwarfs in those barrels are definitely shorter.
But why would you want them to be shorter?
That's so tryhard. Anybody who did that is a filthy tryhard. My God.
I'm almost certain I remember that on the forums back in the day, people said that was happening.
Wow.
I'm almost certain.
Okay, well, should we move on to the next Legion then?
Yes, let's, because this is the good one.
We're blowing through these. Black Riders. So, what's that face, OT?
I'm not the biggest fan of this one.
That's fine. So good though.
So I think this is a really cool Legion. But anyway,
really cool Legion.
Let's read through it. So, army composition: Witch King of Angmar on horse, 80 to 160 points, of course. Morgul Blade he can take. Ringwraith on horse, 65 to 120 points. That's it. Rules: the Black Riders force must always include the Witch King, who is always the leader. The Witch King counts as a hero of legend in this Legion, which I guess will only help with the free standfast he gets, because otherwise he had enough capacity for the 9. Special rules. There's quite a lot in here. Terror in the Night. A model in range of between 4 and 6 models from this force with the Harbinger of Evil special rule, which is all of them, suffers an additional -1 to their courage value. A model in range of between 7 to 9 will suffer an additional -2. So you'll be at -1 normally, -2 if there are 4 to 6, and -3 if there are 7 to 9. Screech of the Nazgul. Each ring wraith can, once per game, cast the channeled version of the transfixed magic power without declaring a heroic channeling. It's automatically cast on a 6, and no will points are expended. Target model can make a resist test as normal. Make sure to note which of the ring wraith models have used this ability, as they can only use it once each per game. That seems really nice. The Will of Sauron. Friendly ring wraith models do not lose a will point for being in combat, as per their Will of Evil special rule. That's really important. Hunt the ring bearer at the start of the fight phase before other heroic actions are declared. If it would be possible for a ring wraith model to charge an enemy model with the one ring following a successful heroic combat, that ring wraith model may declare a heroic combat without expending might. Only one ring wraith can declare a free heroic combat in this way per turn. That's extremely situational, but quite fluffy. If successful, the ring wraith that declared the heroic combat must charge the enemy model with the ring, though any models that move as part of the heroic combat may act as normal. The player who declared this free heroic combat automatically wins the roll-off to see which heroic combat goes first. That's quite cool. So you get an automatic... I mean, your opponent's not going to put the ring on if you have this Legion, unless you're playing some kind of weird fluff game. So I feel like, wouldn't it be cool if your opponent has the ring but hasn't got it on, they have to roll a courage test every turn if they're within 12, and if they fail, they have to put the ring on.
Remind me, can you compel someone to put the ring on?
I don't think so.
I think you can just compel people to move. I don't think you can make them take actions.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if they could if that rule included them being able to compel someone to put the ring on.
Yeah, maybe that would be better. So at first, I wasn't convinced that this Legion was any good. And then I had to play against it at Ardacon. And I think I drew to it or I lost to it. I can't remember. But it was really powerful. I saw it play a couple of games, and just being able to black dart people with 2 dice just like takes guys out really quickly. And because there's no in the ways, you can't really hide from it. They're super mobile. They're half decent in combat. They're basically a Royal Guard being in range of Theoden, right? Fight 5, strength 4, 2 attacks on the charge. Like, they're not terrible. And you're probably doing all sorts of things to your opponent while that's happening. You're not losing will by being in combat. Automatic transfixing your opponent. Like, if your opponent has good heroes, they're definitely giving trouble. You can win games really easily by essentially black darting enemy leaders to death and then just running away. And I think it's fairly fluffy. Maybe only, no, I feel like every rule's like fairly fluffy. What do you guys think?
This is the best Legendary Legion. There you go.
You're just trying to trigger OT.
Well, there is a little bit of that, but I genuinely do think this is the best Legendary Legion.
Wow.
It ticks all the boxes. It's fluffy. It's like a cool theme.
It's quite expensive.
Yeah, we'll get to that. It's good in game. It's like
it's got a high skill ceiling.
Exactly. So it's like it's not just like an auto win like Easterlings. It's like you actually have to think about that.
Triggering all the
Look at him. Look at him hopping on the hype train. I was there 2 months ago.
Shout out to those Eastern players out there.
No.
It's just I just really like this Legendary Legion. I think it's really cool. And the one downside is price, but I think that if you don't
all metal miniatures.
Yeah, but that's only a downside for me and those people who don't like metal miniatures. And to be fair, I'm coming around to them after doing Bows and Badgers because I feel like I don't hate metal as much anymore.
You haven't painted Asphaleth for like 2 months.
That's because it's white, not because it's metal. I would not want to paint that if it was a plastic. Thanks. I would not want to paint that if it was a plastic horse either. It's just I hate painting horses.
So how much
this
is Legion? What
so
is...
It's just so cool. I love this Sledge Legion is awesome.
What's the
and
price?
It scales. You could play at any points level.
Actually, you couldn't go above 1,120 points.
All right, nerds. No one asked.
I fucking knew you'd say that. I have it written down on my piece of paper here. I was so ready to go. Get wrecked.
How much is this Legion money-wise?
Oh, loads of money.
It's quite expensive.
It's
if you want discounts, it's very expensive.
Yeah, what numbers?
It gets real bad.
Well, of course you need discounts.
Three riders is like £30+ pounds.
Yeah, the Witch King.
Witch King's 24. You can get him discounted though because he's a new plastic. And then the 9 on foot, like £45 for like fine crap. Oh,
that's bad. But
however, you don't need 9 dismounts. Just hop on eBay and buy 3.
Or just buy some from Russia illegally. It's way cheaper.
We don't need MI6 on your 2 cases. You're probably already in a fucking book for having him tick friend on that. Friend to the Russians. Oh, that's not good luck.
Yeah, not the vibe.
Good luck.
It's fine. It's in the top 10 for expenditure. And like it's one of the more expensive all hero armies. It is a little bit of a barrier. It's not Riders Dead and expensive, but it is noticeably expensive.
I think you've also got to bear in mind that it depends whether you want to run it at high points with all 9 or if you're happy running 4 at low points. Because if you're happy running 4 at low points, it's significantly cheaper because then it's like £50 plus like going on eBay and spending about 12 quid to get 2 dismounts and you're good because you get a dismount for the Witch King. So you know, low points is very cheap, but it doesn't scale well priced though.
No, that's right. Because it's not like warrior heavy armies where essentially they actually improve in value the bigger your army because you can take advantage of the boxes and stuff. I would say it's the main barrier. Like I'm being a bit cynical about this one, but it is really cool. I think there's a couple of misses rules wise, but nothing major. I think there should be something distinguishing the Witch King.
He gets fancy rules anyway, doesn't he?
Got enough shit.
Not really.
Just give him a Morgul Blade for free. It's 5 points.
Yeah, Morgul Blade free.
I would make him a banner if he was in combat.
Quite good.
But my caveat would be if he fled the battlefield, everyone has to take a courage test because their leader's gone. I think that'd be quite cool. I mean, they're all courage 6, so it's not that impactful. But
they have like 20 will each.
Yeah. I kind of feel like there's so much going on in this Legion that any change would probably wreck it.
I don't think so. I think that's quite minor. I
don't think that you need more rules to keep track of as a player of this Legion.
Well, but a banner in combat is not that much to keep track of.
You've already got a billion special rules plus several magical powers to fucking think about. Like, I remember Mayor saying when he was playing this, like, the guy was having to, like, spend... Like, his turns didn't take long because he had to move stuff. It's because he was, like, having to physically compute about all the possibilities he could do.
Yeah,
so that's if you want to win.
Well,
if you're cool and you don't care.
I think most people are playing to at least try and win. They may not care if they win the outcome, but they're not
where they're going wrong.
No one's going along to a game going, I intend to lose.
This doesn't bode well for our doubles.
It really does.
No, I'd say both of you have been fairly keen to team up with me. I'm not quite sure why. I'm not sure I've won a game of SDG
I don't know why.
in 2 years.
I just like the idea of dwarves.
And when was the last time
you
won a game of SPG?
Well, because you two never let me win when we play. The game I did win was my Wood Elves against your Fellowship, where
So that's the last game, and then the other games you played.
You beat me with dwarves, didn't you?
Oh, that's true. Yeah, but then
No,
you absolutely annihilated me with goblins.
Fake news. He's creating this false narrative that he always loses.
But then there's like 6 month gaps between our games. So like we're talking about this like it was yesterday. It was probably in like 2019 or something.
No, it was definitely last year.
It was after COVID.
Why in this Legion? So every single miniature is a different warband, right? It is. I feel like it doesn't have the thing where you take them all together.
Okay, it should have that.
I feel like it should at least have the option for that.
Has that been FAQ'd?
I don't think.
Also, would that be a nerf having to deploy them all together?
It would be.
No,
yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, because what you can do is
deploying separately gives you.
Yeah, you've got more drops, and also you're not completely fucked if you roll terribly on like a Maelstrom.
Yeah, because you could have like 6 rolls at it. So
and also it means you can actually have any degree of board control because you can deploy in various positions as opposed to all in one place. And I feel like actually it is a bit thematic that they are separate because they're hunting for the ring and they're like all over the place.
They do roam around, don't they? Because like most of the time they're riding as the 9, they're not actually all together. They're only actually all together when they fight Gandalf, right? And when they're like chasing Frodo across the river. That's the only 2 times.
Yeah. I really like the special rules as well. I think the Harbinger stacking is really neat. Especially as I think one of their powers relies on courage tests, right?
Instill fear.
Yeah,
becomes real good.
The guy I played said that he basically never uses that, so don't worry, and he ended up winning the game with it. So it does come in handy. And if you're playing against something like, I mean, you cause terror, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that your opponent's minus all this courage, especially if you're playing against an evil army. I mean, imagine if my Goblin Tower was playing this. Like the Goblin King
can
would
you
just
go
get
below courage 1? What's the lowest courage you can go?
I guess 0. I don't know.
Well, because I assume you can't have negative 1,
isn't it?
Maybe it is 1.
Because
but,
like,
I mean,
if they're stacking -2 and you do drain courage on somebody, like you could be doing like -2, -3 courage.
I don't know. Maybe it can go negative. It should say.
It'll stay in the rule book.
But
because also Goblin King's only courage 3.
Yeah, exactly. So
you just blacked out the Goblin King. You would just
his blubbery mass would and he's resistant to magic.
I think he's still black.
I think you just kill goblins and then they just flee. Because also
you'd have to kill a lot of goblins.
Well, put it this way: the goblins aren't going to charge you because you cause terror, and they're going to be at like -2 or -3 courage. So
0 or 1.
Basically, they're barely going to charge you. You're pretty much always going to charge. Even if you went second, you'd probably get at least a few charges off. But you're also probably just running away and black darting and trying to play.
Also, you could permanently transfix the Goblin King because he can resist for like 1 or 2 turns. Then after that, he's just, or you compel him and then he just sort of just make him run away.
Yeah. So I think it's a strong Legion. What makes you dislike it the most, OT? What about it is?
I don't really dislike it. I just don't think it's the best Legion in the game. I think it's good, but I don't think it's particularly amazing. Like I would like if there was something that distinguished the Witch King from the rest, aside from just a Morgul blade and the option to take Morgul Might with fate. I mean, Hunt for the Ring Bearer is super cool. Like the fact they bothered to put it in when it's super niche. Anyway, yeah, Hunt for the Ring Bearer is super cool, super themey. Won't come up very often, but when it does, it'll be really cool. Are there scenarios? I assume there are scenarios for this.
Before we continue, I don't think it's fair to say that the Witch King doesn't get enough because he does get loads more heroics than regular ring wraiths.
And
because he gets access to strike, strength, challenge, heyo, and he gets resolve.
Well, he's a hero of legend in this one, so challenge is completely useless unless he's facing another hero of legend.
Yeah.
In which case, he's not one-on-one another hero of legend, is he?
Strike, and strength access.
But I mean, all he's getting, and he loses March, which is, I mean, it's one of the more useful ones. Like
you've got plenty of models moving pretty quickly. I'm sure that they can just mark for him. he's fine.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I just there's no rule for him. Maybe that's what I'm saying. There's no rule for him in this league.
Yeah,
I feel like there should be.
Strike. Well, I feel like he does sort of merge into the other 9. The only thing that distinguishes him until he gets his crown is the fact that he stabs Frodo. So maybe he can just have a better Morgul blade, or maybe he can use the Morgul blade as much as he wants. So it's not. Or no, that's not how that works. He would just need several, 2 Morgul blades. No,
5 Morgul blades.
he's like random
throwing weapon out.
Okay, I can see I've made a wrong step by suggesting that.
Black dart with a Morgul blade.
Yeah.
So the other thing is, strike is pointless on him because everyone can do a free transfix on a 6, and it's channeled. So that's halving the enemy's fight. They can do fuck all for the turn. So you're probably not going to strike. You're probably just going to transfix them and then charge them.
True. I still think that it's useful to have more heroics, though.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Shall we rate these?
Oh, go on then. Wait, OT, do you have example lists for these or not?
You take some ring rates.
What about the other lists?
Some more ring rates. At 400,
really?
At 400, you'd probably have Witch King and 2 rates. At 650, it's Witch King and between 5 and 6. I think you're incentivized to take slightly weaker rates just to get that free channel transfix.
And the -1 Harbinger.
Yeah, the stacking is really good. So I think you would be incentivized to take like a few 75, 80 point ones rather than
because they also don't lose will from being in combat.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I think you would stack the Witch King though. I think it is worth taking a few extra things on the Witch King.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's pretty straightforward to build. Yeah, and I think it would be really fun to play. I'm not sure if it would necessarily be super fun to play against. I think there are certain matchups that might be a bit like one-sided and not feel particularly fun. But yeah,
I think there's pros and cons in there. It's probably fun to play against in terms of like the thought process, but I guess you could be left feeling quite passive in terms of they're just running around doing stuff and you're not.
Yeah. Because actually, like, genuinely, one of the effective ways to beat this may just be like not to chase them down too much and just try and hold your ground with ranged weapons and stuff. But yeah, I can't imagine that'd be super fun to play against.
I mean, I think just charging them with like all your shit and just like get to them as.
But then they can just run away. Like,
well, they run out of board space, or they won't be on objectives, and you'll have map control.
I think if you have good shooting, you could try and take out the horses.
I mean, I played with my Assault and Helm's Deep list against this, and I he ran a guy out to Black Dart my leader every turn. I killed his guy every turn. Obviously, I had a shit ton of shooting. Yeah. I think, and then I was chasing the game, and I had to run him down. So,
yeah.
What are the categories again for?
So we have at the top, fantastic for Legendary Legions. We think tick all the boxes, and just to remind everyone listening, this is a kind of holistic view. We're not just doing it for comp; it's like collecting the Legendary Legion as a whole. So fantastic is like it's good, it's fun to collect, it's fluffy, etc. Solid is it's most of those things, but there's a couple of points where we're kind of like it's not 100%. Average is for when there's a reason to take it, but it's kind of at that point debatable as to whether you take this over the regular army, but there's sometimes a reason to do it. And then width is why the hell would you take this? Just take the regular army, basically. Let's start with the Balrog. OC, you can start with the Balrog. We can, because there's 3, we can do one of us start with each of them.
Oh, that was like a raptor sound from Jurassic Park or something.
That's going to be cut out, I think.
That's my thinking noise. It's either right at the top of average or right at the bottom of solid for me.
Fair enough. I would personally probably bump this into solid.
Yep, I'd go kind of middle of solid.
Yeah.
I think it may be around like AMS where we got the Mordor Troll Chieftain, that kind of area. Like I think it's maybe I think it's better than Helms. Maybe not, I don't know.
Well, it will be above Helms if we put it above AMS. I think it's better than Helms. I think it's better than AMS. Blackgate.
I don't think it's better than Blackgate.
Yeah, we'll shove it right.
Cool.
Slots right in the middle.
Yeah,
right in the middle. Yeah, nice and easy one to decide there. Cirith Ungol.
You can do this one first.
I'll do this one first. Right at the bottom of solid, like literally the last one in solid, but I think it's a little bit better than Mummock and Gothmog.
I'm going to put it in the top of average.
Wow.
I don't know. I think it's in solid. I think it's fine. Like, it's themey. There are a few rules. If you were to take this scene, you'd definitely use the Legion, especially with the Shelob buff. It's pretty good value on the whole. Yeah, it could be in solid. I think we did need a category, I think, between solid and average. I think there are loads of
we probably have, if we
can just add one. We do run this podcast.
I think it's too late now.
We're not beholden to some higher power.
We don't run this fucking podcast. This podcast just exists.
Nobody's quite sure why.
It's its own entity. Yeah. So we're putting it at the very bottom of solid.
Yeah, it's worse than all the Rohan ones, but it's better than Mummock.
It does feel better than Mummock.
Yeah.
We probably should have done it as a 5 tier, but we've committed.
We're nearly done.
So stop it.
Call it a bad job and let's get it over.
Just end this. Good. And then we have
Black
Riders. Oh, we know where this is going.
So I guess I have to go first. I'm gonna. I mean, it's definitely not fantastic. The reason for that, in my opinion, is I think it's great. I think the only thing holding it back is it's a little bit expensive, and the main reason is I just think having such a high skill ceiling is going to make it difficult to persevere with, especially if you're a newer player. It's maybe a bit monotone in terms of collecting. I know that's maybe part of its charm, but for me, it's at the top of solids, below Theoden, because I think Theoden should have been fantastic. So,
you see, this is just bitterness because Theoden's not fantastic. This is what this is.
I think it's very. I think it could justifiably be fantastic, and if you want to try and sell that to me, maybe I'll change my mind.
OT, is this cheaper than Assault on Isengard? Or Assault on Helm's Deep, rather.
Assault on Isengard.
that should be the fucking Ents legendary Legion.
Yeah, that should exist.
Is it cheaper than Assault?
On Helm's Deep?
It can't be, surely.
They're almost exactly the same price.
I can't have the cheap.
This one is less expensive at 400, but more expensive higher up because it doesn't scale.
I feel like it has to go in fantastic at the bottom would be my argument then, because I feel like dinging it for price when it's similar to one that's already in fantastic.
Yeah, I retract my price thing. I still think the skill ceiling makes it
skill ceiling makes it difficult for beginners, but I also
think intermediate play or advanced players, like, you're going to lose a shit ton, and that's going to be really demoralizing to start with.
But I feel like all hero armies are usually like a second kind of thing. Like, I don't think anyone collects the Fellowship and then goes, I'm done.
You know, I think it is actually fantastic. It's definitely not fantastic. And the only reason I changed my mind is because
instantly caved.
It's so unique as well. It's like the Fellowship.
Yeah,
it's the closest thing to the Fellowship that's not the Fellowship in terms of
This is a bigger collapse than me saying Grey Company is an average.
I think it is at the bottom of fantastic though.
Yeah, I think final of fantastic would be my argument. OT, you can decide then. Is it going to be very top solid or very bottom of fantastic?
I think Riders of Theoden is better than this, but Riders of Theoden is too expensive. I think there's no single compelling reason it can't be in Fantastic. I don't like it in Fantastic. I wish it was in Solid, but I think it is just about squeaking in there. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really themey. If you're good with this list, you're gonna have like the best play experience ever. Like you'll have so much fun playing with it. But yeah, it's cool. You're gonna have to paint a lot of black cloaks and horses.
That's easy though. Spray paint it black, dry brush it grey, done.
Yep, done.
Yeah.
Add some silver detail. Wash. Done.
Yeah.
Contrast brown.
I'm just saying saying it won't be a particularly interesting painting experience.
I think though black, if you want to, can be as difficult as you make it.
Yeah, it can also be really easy.
Yeah, if you're a like top tier level painter, you can go to town with black. But if you're shit, you can just dry brush.
Yeah, nice. And like metallics as well, you can really go to town on.
Yeah, you could do some
and the horses, and you could do some sick poses. They could be in the river, you know.
Yeah, that's true. I think bottom of Fantastic. Below Uglook seems fair, and it also ends below Fellowship.
We don't need any more legions in Solid.
Yeah, that is the meta reason why it's going Solid.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, fucking nightmare in Solid, isn't it? Good. There we go. Right. That concludes Quest of the Ring Bearer. I'm starting to think that we need to create a new template for this so that we can shove more in Solid.
With some photos that make a bit more sense as well, maybe.
These photos make complete sense. What are you on about? There's not a single
photo. Hammerhead shark who haven't watched that episode.
Single photo here. Well, if you don't understand the hammerhead shark, you should watch the photo.
There's also not one where there's
click
with
the
just
link,
Woses.
The hyperlink on the photo.
The link.
Yeah.
I understand.
Right.
News. Right. So GW released a load of stuff for Warhammer and 40k. New Kill Team stuff there. Your thoughts?
The RBTs look really cool. Dark Eldar is just a upgrade sprue for the normal Dark Eldar dudes. The RBTs look really cool. They're basically just Judge Dredd, but I'm kind of okay with that. My colleague is definitely buying them. The dog looks ridiculous, but he likes it for some reason.
Fair enough. Doggos sell.
Yeah.
Lizard men look cool. There's my hot take.
Lizard men look cool. Was there a Lizard men release, or are you just commenting?
Yeah, there was not. There was the Lizard men reveal. I'm glad that you have you've investigated fully. OT, what did you think about the new Space Marines?
I thought
the guns.
The guns.
Guns on guns.
Again,
more guns. Sorry, more guns is more good.
Guns.
Sorry, that's more
guns.
More guns is more good.
Hot take. Having a guy hold a fucking massive gun like it's a pistol looks shit.
It does.
But I think everyone has pointed that out now. So there we go.
It's not actually a hot take, then, is it?
I think they posted a meme on their own account that was just a guardsman with a bayonet, with just like 5 bayonets attached to them.
Yeah, no, I think I saw that on Insta actually.
Yeah.
What were they thinking when they designed that? Ugh.
Well, they weren't thinking. That's the point. They've got a captive audience that they can sell shit to.
So how did it get through to the point where they're literally pulling metal?
But they have a version of that Primaris armor where they're much beefier for heavy weapons. Then they went, no, let's put it on the normal guy.
They don't care. They don't care, do they? Like,
I know they don't care.
It's such a ridiculous market. Like, they could just say whatever, put it into Google Translate,
just make it a really good,
and it'll sell. Like, it's
ridiculous. I actually agree, and I kind of think that this is like an experiment of will people buy stuff just because it has good rules.
How far could we push it?
Yeah, like literally, like, can we just sell anything on a Space Marine and will people buy it? I actually wouldn't be surprised if someone was like, let's just do it.
Come on, lads.
Just wanted to see if it'd work, and it probably will because they'll probably be OP.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Good.
40k, you should definitely get into it. You have all of our endorsements. It's the best game on the market. If you're wondering how much Games Workshop paid me, I can't disclose that information. NDA. They're not paying me. It's sad. I wish they were.
Piss off, listeners.
Yeah, fuck off, listeners.
Don't come back next week. Don't come back next week.
We start your morning well, and then we end on a bad note. That's
we've ruined it by lunchtime. Next week we will be starting our look at the Legendary Legions in the I can't remember what it's called, Necromancer Vanquisher book thingy. The one
I don't have.
The one that no one owns. I'm sure you'll talk about everyone. So it is goodbye from
It'll be
there.
a short episode. Goodbye, everyone.
Really
have a lovely weekend.
Goodbye from OT.
Bye.
See, this is why you accuse me of not introducing you, because you don't reply. And it's goodbye from me as well. Goodbye, everyone.
Some input into my brain.
Bye.
Who's Lou?
Bye.
Chat.